Hey, Matt here, squeezing in another video before the end of the weekend. I'll be in San Diego next weekend, so we'll be able to do one of these. I'm gonna do Tom Waits. I had a guy request a Tom Waits video the other day, and I had been planning on doing one anyway. I had all the CDs sitting here, which I found them all except for, well, I don't have, the one I didn't find is because I don't have it. It's a movie he did in the 90s, which I'll get to. He did the soundtrack to the movie. But I have everything else. I'm just going to do Tom Waits in the 20th century because that's what I have. I'm familiar with all these albums, but some more so than others. So I took notes, which I'll be referring to. It's a lot of notes. A few things about to say on each album, including what songs I like. So I don't have to read the titles and look at them. Okay, we're starting off in 1973 with Closing Time. It's a good album. Oh, I probably just shouldn't have even written down all those titles because I can just see them so easily on here. Tom, I'm from San Diego. That's where I grew up. It's where I certainly was all during the 70s when he was on the Asylum label. And he was in San Diego. I don't know how often he was playing, and I was too young to go see him anyway. But that's definitely where his roots are. Closing Time's a good album. What I got here, this came out in 73. He was in San Diego in the 60s and the early 70s. That's why I never heard of him. I was too young. He had moved up to LA by, I think, 72. He was working at the Troubadour, the club here. But I think as late as 71, he was working at a club in San Diego. Closing Time, what can I say? That's a Cal Schenkel cover. He did some work for Zappa. What I got here? It's produced by Jerry Yester, who was in the Lovin' Spoonful. Old 55 is the most famous song on here, and it's because the Eagles covered it. Martha, I'm looking at the titles back here, was covered by Tim Buckley that same year. I'm going to do a Tim Buckley show, too. Ice Cream Man is good. Closing Time, the title track. Hope I Don't Fall in Love with You. Those are all good songs. That's about it. That's all I wrote down. So it's a strong debut. I like all of his Asylum albums in the 70s, except for one that I just haven't spent the time with, and I'll tell you about that one when I get to it. So this is strong, but he would make better albums. All right? Heart of Saturday Night came out in 74. I don't know if I like this one better than Closing Time. They're both really good. That cover is kind of meant to evoke Sinatra's In the Wee Small Hours of the Morning. It's like a prostitute looking at him. I like probably just as many songs on here as I like on Closing Time. New Coat of Paint, San Diego Serenade's good. Semi-Sweet's good. Fun with the Blues. Yeah, and The Ghost of Saturday Night. Yeah, this is another strong one. Some might say better than Closing Time. With each new album, he's formulating his persona, his beatnik, jazzy, Bukowski type noir, Beefheart, I don't know. Is Beefheart an influence on Tom? You would think so. I don't know if I've ever read him say that, though. It's part experience, part fiction. It's the way he sees the world. Okay. Bones Howe produced that album, and he would be Tom's producer until he started with Island, I think, with Swordfish Trombones. Okay, we got 75, double LP, Nighthawks at the Diner. Nighthawks, kind of like has that Edward Hopper vibe on the front. This might be my favorite of the first three. It's a double album. You guys know I like double albums. It's not really live, although it's supposed to have that feel, that it's in a jazz club. It's just people in the studio making, noises in much the same way that the Beach Boys did 10 years prior with the Beach Boys Party album. But this is his most jazzy album, I think, of the earlier ones. What do I like here? You notice I'm referring to my notes. On a Foggy Night, Emotional Weather Report's really good. Better Off Without a Wife. Nighthawk Postcards from Easy Street's good. What a Tom Waits title. Warm Beer and Cold Women. Jeez. Putnam County. Spare Parts. Spare Parts 1. So, yeah, I mean, I might like that one even more than the first two. Okay, his first really good one, though, even better than Nighthawks, is Spare Change. This is 76. Another dancer type on the cover is with him. Tom Trober's Blues is outstanding. Step Right Up is great. Wish I Was in New Orleans. The Piano Has Been Drinking, Not Me. That's another great one. Invitation to the Blues. These are all good. Bad Liver and a Broken Heart. One That Got Away. God, I mean, that's almost the whole album. So he was kind of getting better, with each album at this time. Really solidifying the persona. But it was somewhere around this time, though, you can begin to see a bit of affectation in his music. But it's not overpowering yet. Okay, this is the one, Foreign Affairs, I did not grow up with. I didn't buy this until it was remastered a few years ago, so I don't know it as well. I've definitely played it not even 10 times in my life, maybe closer to 5. So it's hard to say, I mean, what I really love on here. This is the one that he does the duet with Bette Midler. Let me look to see what my notes say. Yeah, I Never Talk to Strangers. It's, the cover is kind of, it's that black and white kind of noirish aspect to his music. So I'm going to say this is my least favorite of the Asylum records of the 70s, but that could be because I have not spent a lot of time with it. I'm always willing to admit that if I think it's true. Another one of my favorites is Blue Valentine. This is one of the first Tom Waits albums I ever bought when I was younger. Was that when he was with Ricky Lee Jones? I don't remember now. Yeah, I pretty much like this whole album. I love what he did with Somewhere, the West Side Story number. Christmas Card from a Hooker in Minneapolis is great. Romeo's Bleeding. Whistling Past the Graveyard. Sweet Little Bullet from a Pretty Blue Gun is great. And so is Blue Valentine's. Again, this is like Small Change. Almost the whole album, I think, is quintessential Waits. See if I wrote anything down that I forgot to mention. Nope, just all the songs I liked. All right. He took 1979 off, came back in 1980 with Heart Attack and Vine. This is, as taken as a whole, it might be kind of disappointing, but the best songs on here are top-notch Waits, which all of his albums are like that, right? So, I haven't played this one as much as I played the other ones in my life that I've shown you so far, except for Foreign Affairs. But I'll tell you what I love here. I love Heart Attack and Vine, Downtown, Jersey Girl, which Springsteen did. Till the Money Runs Out. Hold on. Let me see what else I wrote down for this. It starts with Friends and All You. It's right here. Bound to Jersey Girl, Till the Money Runs Out. Yeah, that's it. Those are songs I like. So that's half the album, and those songs are as good as what he did in the 70s. By this point, though, his, I don't know what you call it, his shtick, if you will, is getting kind of old. He had already gone through the 70s making this type of album. He hadn't changed that much. He had kind of hit a peak with Small Change and Blue Valentine. And this is not at that level, I don't think. So, nothing in 81. In 82, he does the one from the Heart soundtrack. Now, this soundtrack I have, this is a good one. He does this one with Crystal Gayle. This is from the Coppola film, one from the Heart that I've still to this day never seen. It's on Blu-ray. You can't rent things anymore, like you could in the good old days of, you could probably see it on, I could probably stream it if I wanted to, but anyways. It's a good, solid album. Again, this is another one of the ones I have not played even 10 times in my life. But I like the whole thing. Every time Tom sings, it's good. It's like, it sounds like it's classic Waits. Crystal's got a nice voice. It's got some previously unreleased bonus tracks. So, I might appreciate it more if I'd seen the movie. But I think it's kind of like a holding pattern album for him. But it's good. Okay, so Bones Howe is out. Asylum is out. 83 starts his classic rest of the 80s years. He's on the, Island label now. He's producing himself. Swordfish Trombones was the best album he'd ever made at that time. Still among the top 5 albums that he's ever made, total. This was the first time I remember seeing a video of his on MTV. Not that it was ever played a lot, but he's playing all kinds of instruments are being played on this album. I like the whole thing. Did I even write down any songs? These are my notes. Not so piano based. Oh, it's the first of the trilogy, right? Between this, Rain Dogs, and Frank's Wild Years. Frank's Wild Years is a song on this album, which I forget until I play it. And I wrote down all the songs, but I could just name them all out. They're all Underground, Shore Leave, Johnsburg, Illinois, 16 Shells from a 30-06 is great. In the Neighborhood. I think that's the one that I remember the video from. Frank's Wild Years, Swordfish Trombone, title track, Down, Down, Down. That's a good one too. Gin Soaked Boy. Yeah, pretty much the whole album. All right, that's his first masterpiece, like close to a 5-star album, or you might just call it a 5-star album. Rain Dogs, 85, just as good, if not better. I think if you force me to choose, this is my favorite Tom Waits album. At least it's probably the one I played the most in my life. Swordfish Trombones, that was right up there. This is the Let It Bleed to Swordfish Trombones, is Beggar's Banquet. It's like 2 great albums in a row, but I think I like this one just a little bit more. Let me see what I wrote down for notes here. Keith Richards is on here. The first time Keith played, Tom would later play on what's that 86 Stones album? Dirty Work. Mark Ribot, is that how you say it? R-I-B-O-T is a guitar player in here. He would work with him. It has a circus-like vibe. Again, he's doing so many different types of instrumentation and sounds, starting on Swordfish Trombones, that would become like the new Tom Waits persona or vibe, just distancing himself, which he needed to do from the 70s Asylum years. That's not Tom Waits on the cover, by the way. I thought it was for years, but I had to read that online. This is his New York City album. He wasn't recording in LA anymore. This is about New York, obviously, too. So I like that about it. And again, I wrote down the songs, but it's every song on here. I'm having a hard time reading that. So I got Singapore Cemetery, Polka, Jockey Full of Bourbon, Hang Down Your Head, Time, Rain Dogs, Walk in Spanish, and Downtown Train, which of course Rod Stewart took to the top 10 later on in the decade. Rain Dogs, probably my favorite Tom Waits album. All right, the trilogy finishes with Frank's Wild Years. This is music that he made for a play, which I think debuted in Chicago. I never saw it. I like this one too. It probably is my least favorite of the 3, the classic 3. But this is still a damn good. This is still Waits in the post One from the Heart 80s. It's like you can't go wrong. What did I write down? Frank's Wild Years, written for a play with his wife Kathleen. That's right. This is when he first started working with her. He took that song, Frank's Wild Years, where if you remember that song from Swordfish Trombones, it's a guy who like burns down his house in LA and heads up the freeway, and that's what the whole play is about, or the album. He gets off on a series of adventures and he goes to Vegas and whatnot, and so it's like a concept album. You could even call Rain Dogs a concept album about New York, the New York demi-monde if you want, but this is more so. What did I write down here? Way Down in the Hole, and that was made famous by The Wire. Whenever you watch The Wire, and I own the whole series on Blu-ray, that was a great cop show. East Coast Cop Show, and it used that song. I think people would sing it though, right? Temptation, Cold, Cold Ground, Innocent When You Dream, Straight to the Top. Those are my favorites, but there's an awful lot of songs on there. So, Frank's Wild Years, last album he would make in the 80s. Bone Machine came out in 92. Bone Machine's pretty good. I didn't play this one a lot at the time, and when people start calling this a classic, I had to go back and reassess it, and it is really good. I probably like this more than Frank's Wild Years, all right? But by this time, again, there's a sameness kind of seeping. I mean, you can't have been, he'd been making albums for almost 20 years by then, and most of them are great, including this one. So, you know, there's only so much original that you can do with your formula, but I think this could be one of the great albums of the 90s. I think Mule Variations is better, but I think this is still really good. I don't think I took too many notes on this. Okay, so he produced this with Kathleen, recorded in Northern California. That's when they started to make that shift up there. He was not going to be like an LA guy anymore. Oh, I forgot Night on Earth. That's in my notes. That's the movie that I saw the film that he did the soundtrack to this same year in 92. I think it came out before this album. I don't remember. That I don't have. It's the one Tom Waits album I don't have from. Oh, I don't have the live albums either. I think there's some live albums as well. Big Time, right? That's what it's called. Okay, so David Hidalgo's on here. Keith Richards again. What I got here? Earth Died, Screaming is good. Dirt in the Ground, Going Out West, I Don't Want to Grow Up. See, I'd have more songs, but I don't know the album quite as well as perhaps I should. Okay, The Black Rider came out next. This is definitely one I only bought in the last few years, you know, when they remastered all this stuff. This is a dark album. You know, this is another one of those albums like Frank's Wild Years he did for a play. He wrote these songs for a play. The play was in Germany, so the story is old. Produced by Tom Waits and Kathleen Brennan again. I don't think I know this album well enough to tell you what I think the highlights are. Nope, didn't even write anything down. William S. Burroughs co-wrote, you know, The Naked Lunch Rider. This with him, and I think he's even on a track, if I remember right. But it's good. Right after this, in 95, I would move up to LA, and I kind of forgot about Tom Waits. Because again, I didn't even own this album. So I hadn't had anything since Bone Machine. But he came back in 99 with Mule Variations, which is another, I think it's not one of his masterpieces. This is the best thing he did in the 90s. I don't know if it's as good as Surfers, Trombones, and Rain Dogs, but it's I think better than Frank's Wild Years, and probably better than Bone Machine. So, what else I got about this one? He's not on Island anymore. I don't know what label he's on here. There it is, Anti. Whatever. Not only did he and Kathleen produce this, she helped write the songs for him too. I'm not going to complain about that, though. I don't see her as a Yoko Ono type, because if she's going to help him make albums this good, you know, more power to her. Big in Japan is great. Low Side of the Road, Hold On, Cold Water, Filipino Box Spring Hog, and Come On Up to the House. Those are all great songs, but again, there's a lot of them. So I'm ending on a high note. What is this? 19 minutes. So what can I say about Tom Waits that I already have not said? He's definitely made decent music in the 21st century. I reach a saturation point with an artist where I think I've got enough of their albums. Paul McCartney, I reached saturation with him a long time ago. You know, everyone tells me how great Chaos and Creation is, and I've heard most of it. It is pretty good. I don't own it, you know. The only reason I own Dylan albums, well, okay, I take that back. His 2001 album is great, Love and Theft. And even the next one from 2006 is pretty good, Modern Times. But the only reason I own the Dylan albums after that is because they came in the complete Columbia albums box set, you know. So basically, if you've been around as long as, you know, 60s or early 70s artists, I probably weren't still buying your albums in the year 2000. There's some occasional exceptions, but I also was losing interest in rock music by the 21st century. So, anyways, I'm stopping my Tom Waits presentation in 1999. This is Matt. I hope you liked it.